And we're back after a long ass wait. Steve Cash, one half of the Poor Podcast. Am I in here with my co-host?
Mike Lake in the building. The other half is good.
Man, not a lot.
The
fucking world is in shambles. 2020 is a piece of crap.
2020 has been absolute shit since y'all last heard from us.
It's not getting any better, or so it appears.
Mm-hmm. June about to start, and I don't even want to know what's on the other
Can't
side of that.
believe half the year's already here.
Yeah. We spent a good deal of it in quarantine because of Corona.
Quarantine Steve been...
Oh, that's the name? Quarantine Steve?
Quarantine Steve been just,
what you been up to?
finding out a lot about myself. Exploring and things of that nature.
Why did that sound deeper than it needed to?
Getting to know me all over again.
Sounds like masturbation, actually. Is what
it could be masturbation.
Literally exactly what it sounds like.
He could have been meditating.
Something else with an M.
Reading books.
Something else with an M.
Masturbation or mediation? Meditation?
Medication?
Just making moves. Just within the crib, though. Nothing major. But yeah, man, it's just crazy. Just never been in anything like this. I'm sure all of us never been through anything like this. It's completely hectic. And the times that we're in right now, it's just one I didn't think we'd ever really see.
Yeah, and you're speaking specifically of COVID, right? Like you're not.
No, honestly, I was off COVID. I was more so talking about Floyd.
George Floyd. Okay, so moving to the George Floyd thing. Both are unprecedented.
And right.
Both are unprecedented, but. Yeah, I seen a lady. You know how you see shit on social media? It was an older white lady had a sign said, "I can't believe I'm still protesting this shit 60 years later," or some shit like that. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was dope. Like if she stood with back then with Selma and civil rights, and here she still stands, and we're still talking about the same fuck shit.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It is completely insane.
And for all intents and purposes, I know it seems to be a black white thing, us versus the cops thing, but. We do need the allies. We need them to stand up and denounce this nonsense too.
Right. We definitely need the ones that are on our side, or at least the ones that portray to be on our side. Mm-hmm. I'm saying, who knows the jokes they tell around a dinner table, but at least if you gotta put it out in the public, of the doubt. I ain't giving them shit.
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. If someone's gonna stand up publicly and protest, and go out there and protest, I would hope behind the scenes they ain't actually racist.
No, but we definitely do need them on our side. The salute to them. For doing that.
It's all a numbers game. We're still a minority in this country. 11% of the country is black. 13 is Latino, and us two together still don't equate to what they equate. We're still a minority, so we do need other people because we live in a democratic society. So if we're gonna vote on shit, laws, etc., yeah, we need them.
Tampa disappointed me though, man.
Tampa surprised the fuck out of me.
I thought we would act a little better overall than how we acted last night.
I can't say that I'm totally surprised that it happened. But I'm surprised it happened so fast and like right up front.
Y'all know our base is mostly Tampa, but y'all just in case, what happened last night?
Well, yeah, just spread the news.
The same thing that happened in every city, damn near every city around. Niggas was wilding. Yeah, that's what it was. Nah, it was riots. It was looting.
Peaceful protests
in the daytime. It was peace. It was very peaceful.
Led to rioting and looting and shit being burned up.
But I will say this: that people have to understand the people that was looting and rioting. That was the plan. For them.
Oh yeah, they left the house
when night fell. They wasn't. It's not like they was out there chilling, peace and kumbaya. It didn't start like that for them. Then all of a sudden a switch flicked, and then they just started wilding and breaking windows. Nah, whoever was doing that, they went there to do that.
Y'all think it was all monetary? They just wanted to get stuff.
Come on now, look what was looted: a Champs, a fucking a Target. And what was the other one?
Champs damn near out of business already, and they looting them.
A fucking AT&T store.
A diamond store was looted.
A diamond store also. Like, listen to what was looted. None of that. That wasn't like they was rooting for like protest gear. Motherfucker went to get some kicks, some phones, and some jewels. Who that sound like?
Target was definitely targeted.
Target. I saw a post like that. Said how they gonna be mad when the target actually got hit. That shit was funny.
Nah, but the shit is just social media. One thing that really, I think I'm mostly upset with Tampa because in that community they know better. They fucked up Shoe Mountain.
Yeah.
Dog, black owned Shoe Mountain, dog. That's literally a staple for all of us. Like, that's our shit. Why would you go fuck up our shit? And I'm really happy that people are. I believe they set up a GoFundMe, if I'm not mistaken, to try to rebuild that part of Shoe Mountain, because that's literally our shit. Yeah. Like, how stupid are you, dog? I'm not saying loot. I'm not saying do that shit. But if you're going to do it, know where to do it. It is not in your own community. Mm-hmm. There's Bayshore. There's Davis Island. There's South Tampa. Why are you fucking up the shit your grandma
Vision Media would like to say that we do not condone or wish that you target those areas.
Don't do it. But at the end of the day, if it's going to be done, I don't want it done. But if you're going to do it, just like anything, like I don't want my child, my teenage son having sex. I don't want him to. But if he's going to do it, use a condom if you're going to. And I don't want you to do it because. That conversation, but that's the whole point. Like, I don't want the looting. But if you're going to do it, don't burn down the shit to where your grandmother can't go up the street to shop now.
Why do you think they did do that though?
Because they don't got enough common sense to not loot their own neighbor, to not fuck up their own shit.
But it's a common theme though.
Well, it's exactly what Steve said though. It's like the person who did come out there to loot came out there to fucking loot. They don't give a fuck about the protest or the outcome or the message that's being ruined by their actions. All they thinking about is what can I get
or the
from
items.
Steve, do you think that they just because the protests were, just for everybody's the protests were, what was it, Fowler
and 30th
and 30th,
Bush and 30th.
Bush and 30th. It wasn't actually in Soho, it wasn't in Bayshore and all that stuff. And that's basically the reason why. Because it'd be pretty weird for him to run all the way down to Bayshore.
Now it sounds funny to say run, but drive down there and do the same fuck shit you had here. Do it. Like, you burning up your own shit does nothing for us. Like, you're looting the wrong shit. Now the same places to where you go get little where you go get little man shoes for the summer. I mean for school year. Now you can't go there because you fucked it up.
Yeah.
You want to burn that little man spot.
More importantly,
it's your own shit. It makes zero sense, and you're hitting your own. You really fucked up the black-owned Shoe Mountain. It's not easy for them to rebuild, as easy to rebuild as it might be for Target, who's a multi-million-dollar company.
It's funny that you said that, because Target actually came out. I don't know if it was a tweet or if it was a Insta post. They said
it was their message.
It was their message, basically. They basically said, we can rebuild, we can rehire, we can get more stock. You can replace all stuff, but you can't replace lives. And they're basically supporting. I don't know if they're supporting the riots, but they're definitely supporting the protests and all that stuff too.
It just sucks because everything gets diminished when people do riot and loot, because it dilutes the whole message. I promise you, for the majority of the people that's out there in the daytime
are on message
protesting Floyd, they were not out there doing fuck shit. Mm-hmm. I'm sure maybe one or two, of course. There's always going to be someone. There's always a Judas somewhere. Someone within you is going to do not going to be with it. Just like everybody that was out last night and just in person and witnessing and yelling at the cops, not everybody was looting. Everyone didn't loot. Yeah. It only take a couple people to start fuck shit up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it only take a couple. So, and it's going to look like the whole grand scheme of things. Yeah. I disagree with them shooting fireworks at the officers. That's just stupid. You're just doing stupid shit to provoke and dog. Because honestly, you can really fuck some shit up with some fireworks. If they return fire with some other shit, then
I mean fireworks sound like gunfire, and that's just.
It sounds like to me if you pointing something and I see a barrel flame at the end of it, it looks like you just shot a gun, you just missed. Yep, that's how it looks to me.
There's definitely a lot to be said about the rioting and looting. I've been kind of on this weird ass fence, right? And I'm sure y'all feel like I feel. I'm very mixed feeling on this. There's anger, there's disgust. There's fear, there's sadness, and lack of hope, or whatever you want to call it. So at one moment you might catch me, I feel like this. Another moment I might feel like something else. I'm not going to tell anybody how they can express their anger. Go out and protest, get your signs on, get your speeches on, whatever you need to do to try to convey that message. But I personally feel like a more targeted campaign to get what we want done would be something to the effect of affecting the polls, obviously, when we vote, which is a message everybody puts out there, but also something like a committee like a review board in those cities where police are a problem.
But do you know, y'all, and not to cut you off, Steve, you're about to say something, but I was talking to my mom about this yesterday, and she was just talking about a lot of people. My mom lives in Clearwater, Florida, just across the bridge from where we at here in Tampa. And she was basically saying that a large percentage of our people are still not voting. And it's for various reasons. They can't vote or they don't want to vote. It's not convenient, whatever it is. And so it almost is like I don't want to use the word ignorant, but it's almost like we're ignorant to the reality of how we can get ourselves out of this. The issue. The issue. You know?
We have a problem. We don't know how to solve it.
How do you fix that? Yeah. How do you fix that?
Yeah. I said this in my Facebook post. I don't have the answers, but I could see one quick and easy way is if the police are a problem, then have some external board or independent board review and affect the police. Have the ability to hire, fire, suspend, etc. It seems simple enough, straightforward.
It's not so much as just voting for better police.
Well, that's one too, but our police chief wasn't a bad police chief, and our current mayor, who was a police chief, who is herself a lesbian and counts herself in the minority, was a pretty good police chief. She wasn't. I don't think we've seen a whole lot of fuck shit per se from TPD, HCSO. We lived here our whole life, have y'all?
For the majority part, of course, it depends on who you ask. Because I've seen some people just telling their story on how cops constantly fuck with them. Now you will have to hear their side of the story.
Of course, and I'm sure everybody has a point of view in a situation. What I was saying is, in those problem police stations, like we know, like NYPD, it's rampant throughout the entirety of the shit. If you have a problem officer or a problem group of officers in Tampa, it's not I've had many encounters between getting tickets, pulled over. We had the time the guns was pointed at us. We was in Ybor. We were sitting in the car that time. Mm-hmm. Everything was, for the most part, have been handled professionally and on the up and up. Rarely has it ever been any fuck shit directed to me from the police.
Why did y'all have guns pointed at y'all?
We were sitting in a car and looked like three suspects.
Because y'all three black guys sitting in the car?
They told us before they walked off. They said they were specifically looking for some armed robbers who had fled in a black sedan. It was three black males in a black sedan.
Okay.
We were three black males sitting in a black sedan. Like, we were pouring up drinking. And first they didn't tell us. I think it was either Steve or Carl, our homie that was with us, questioned it. It was like, no, wait, what the fuck? Like, y'all just rolled up on us, got us out the car, patted us down, was like, all right, y'all good? What y'all doing?
Yeah, I was like, well, what it's about? Like, it wasn't aggressive. It wasn't like aggressive. Like
they came and did it and then left and wasn't gonna tell us.
Yeah, they just pat us down. They checked our IDs and it was like, all right, well, I mean, nah, you kind of just like what?
Right.
At least say what it was about. Make it make sense.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like, you can't win. You're not going to win. Getting bucked, trying to show out, like, you're not going to win in this situation. The point of it is, just like sad to say, same message. The point is to get home. Mm-hmm. I'm showing now. I'll start walling out, and I don't go home.
I'm glad you said that, actually, Steve, because that's because somebody close to me, who I won't say who they are, said the guy. So I don't know if y'all, the CNN reporter, half black, half Hispanic, and he was out in Minnesota or wherever the Floyd, the George Floyd. Lord, forgive me if I'm saying the wrong name. Minneapolis, thank you. He was actually arrested. He was basically, you got white reporter over here, black reporter over here. They chasing protesters. The cops are doing all kinds of things. They happen to come across the black reporter. He's reporting normal, just like, hello, my name is whatever his name is. I'm reporting in CNN, and he's been whatever, normal. And they just kind of walk up to him. One guy puts his hands on his shoulders, and then all of a sudden he's being arrested. He's being put in. You saw that, right?
Arrested live.
I didn't realize there were other reporters around them, but they got arrested live on air. I was watching it.
There's other arrested, not right next to him, but just literally right up the corner. Yeah. And the person that I know was basically saying, hey, the way that guy got arrested was the right way to get arrested. And she wasn't necessarily saying it's not the right way to get arrested for a black person, but it's the right way to get arrested in general. All people, basically, if they're arresting you, say, hey, why am I getting arrested? Okay, they put in your hands, like, basically not to resist or not to be angry about it. And my question is that how do y'all feel about that? Because you just said basically the point is to get home, and I agree with you. How do you agree? Should you just be like, hey, you don't know why you're getting arrested? You're simply being arrested because you're black and you fit a description. Mm-hmm. That's all you're being arrested for. And you feel targeted. How do you be calm? Like, obviously you should be calm. Everybody should be calm when you're being arrested so you don't get
It's a lot different. See, that reporter, he got arrested. It's a little different. He has the world, or at least whoever watching the news, but potentially the world is watching. So it's a lot different if he was just by himself. And the police officer weren't very aggressive. They just calmly put his hands behind his back without the cameras, without people around. It could have been way more aggressive than that. So if I aggressively grab your arm and like swing you around or some shit, or at least you might give a little jerk back, not because you're fighting, just because it's only natural. It's kind of like the kind of go with it almost, just like, oh, you're resisting type shit. Who knows what? I guess that's if like what it. I guess it's like shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah,
maybe.
What about?
But so I guess as far as just is that the proper way to do? Just go. Honestly, in my opinion, you're not going to win. You're not going to talk yourself out of the handcuffs.
Right.
So go with it. Ask your questions if you want. Also, you do have the right to remain silent. But if you, of course, you're going to be curious, like, why? Wait, what are you doing to me? So go with it. Allow the shit to happen so you can get back home overall.
Right.
Don't get beat the fuck up in the backseat or whatever's going to happen after they throw you on the ground and put the knee on you. Whatever is going to happen to you, just go with it so none of that's necessary. And if you're good, hopefully you are, then
you can pursue.
And it sucks to say that way because in the same breath, it's like,
why do you have to?
Why do I have to?
That's what I always say. Why do you have to?
Why do I have to pretty much be a bitch? Why do I have to be physically just because you got on that badge? It's not fair.
Well, it's an unfortunate position, but we know with power, and the Spider-Man phrase, with power comes great responsibility, and not everybody's going to use it properly. So what it really comes down to is, like you said, you could decide to be a bitch or not. And in the or not case, if you want to fight, then you can't expect them. You don't know what they're going to do. Basically, so you could tussle with them and you could be the man, you could roast them or whatever. People pop shit and do whatever they want to do. But to me, what I tell my son, and this is a conversation that I'm tired of having with him, and I'm sure he's tired of hearing it, but it's one that I'm going to keep having with him. It's the procedure when you're encountered with the police. To try to be as calm in every situation as you can, even if they fucking with you. Don't get aggressive. Don't posture. Don't stand up. Don't square up. Just answer questions and be like, look, man, this is what I'm doing. This is where I'm going, and be on point.
And that's fine.
And that's tough to do. And like what Steve was saying, if they are getting aggressive with you, if they push your head in or some crazy shit like that.
And doing that is fine to a certain extent, to when you're being stopped on every block. It gets tiring. If you're just walking, that's when the abuse comes in, like, just doing it strictly because I'm black. I'm sick of it. No, I'm not going to sit here and answer your questions. No, I did nothing wrong. I'm just walking.
It's the idea that we truly do have to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You know from the president to regular motherfuckers like us, you have to be perfect.
Mm-hmm. And this is something we've lived with since Webb Du Bois talked about it. The talented 10. We got to be twice as good as our white counterparts to succeed in certain endeavors. That's just what it's always been, and this is just one of those things where...
Well, and that's what happens when you're 300 years behind.
It fucking sucks, but it's what we got to deal with. And I want my son to come home, and we can deal with writing complaints. We can talk to whoever sergeant. We can sue or do whatever we want to do after all of that. If they throw you on the ground, you can't fight these dudes. They're ultimately going to win, and even if they end up losing, you still end up losing worse, like George Floyd, unfortunately.
But did George Floyd did he?
I couldn't watch the video.
Did you watch the video? Nothing that I've ever said that he fought. That's why I can't.
They didn't. There's a video of him being arrested at the corner store, and he was going as they were. There was another video. It looks like he was already in the handcuffs, but something happened in the backseat. It looked like a fight was ensuing in the backseat. How much of a fight a person could do when their hands are behind their back?
Right.
I don't know.
Just kicking the back of the seat.
But they somehow, and then the next video was, which everyone's seen, was when he was on the ground, 3 officers on him. One was pretty much the lookout or whatnot. This case is so weird. The fact that there's facts in this case that makes it extremely weird. The fact that they worked together for 17 years, or at least in the same building. You could work with someone and never speak to them. That's very possible.
How did they? What was the capacity in which they worked?
But the cop that killed Floyd.
Oh, worked in the same building.
They worked in the same building as security. Floyd worked outside, or either one or the other. Either Floyd worked outside, an officer worked inside, or vice versa.
What was the business again?
I don't remember the business. Some bar.
It was like a bar. Okay. Yeah.
Damn.
And that's weird because we go to bars.
Mm-hmm. And we see cops out there all the time.
The cops and the bartenders and the bouncers know us. So how would they not know each other?
I don't know, but
that's weird.
If you, it's very odd. And I'm not trying to like get into the super conspiracy part of it, but I promise you, before I even gained the knowledge that they work together, I was like, why is he so focused? Like the cop was literally kneeling on his neck, almost just watching and waiting for his life to leave. It's so weird. He's like, it was like you were just staring and waiting for the last breath. Almost.
It's like he snapped and he lost his mind almost.
Even after he was no longer breathing, moving at all, he was still on his neck up to 2 minutes till EMT got there. When they got there, he was still on his neck while the ambulance were there. He was still there until they rolled him over onto the the stretcher or whatever it is, the gurney, until they rolled him over. Which I saw to a nurse. They didn't even attempt to resuscitate him, and you're supposed to do that first. This coming from a nurse, but I was like, damn, I didn't even put that together because I get they in my field.
The cops are supposed to do that, right? The cops actually know
they're
CPR,
supposed to,
right.
but he never turned. They never.
At minimum, the EMTs.
If they're dying, right? If they're dying, though, the cops are supposed to start.
They're first responders, so yes.
I did the academy. They taught us first responder CPR training, but you don't have to per se. Okay. EMTs definitely.
See, that's bullshit. I believe you should have to, because now you're picking and choose who you want to save. Then, if that's the case.
Well, no, it's the way it's written. When I say don't have to per se, I didn't really want to get into details, but it's written like this. You're trained in CPR. If somebody needs CPR, you're supposed to administer it. So yes,
I would think that if
you
have to breathe, he probably needs CPR.
But it's not in the, it's in the rules of knowing CPR. You know? It's in the rules of knowing CPR more so than it is as a cop with a badge. Like if you know CPR and I need CPR, you signed that CPR card saying that you.
I believe you have to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's more because he's CPR trained and less because he's a cop. Is what.
And Mike, I want to ask you a question because Mike is the resident. Mike, Steve calls him a snitch, but we know he went to the police academy.
Claude trying to slide.
Trying to put the joke.
I didn't call you a snitch. Steve called you a snitch.
He's trying to. I
didn't do it.
Be clear. The joke about the snitch shit is my actual job as a PI.
Yes,
it's not about me going to the academy. But
yes,
let's land the joke first.
Claude trying to get that off, but through me.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah.
Trying to make you the proxy.
But anyhow, Mike, you have knowledge of the things you had to study, and what I want to ask you about real quick before y'all move into your next subject, or not your next subject, but you're talking about your next thing is, so they're charging the cop.
I was going to ask you what y'all thought about that.
He's being charged, whatever. I won't even say his name.
It's supposed to be third degree.
Third degree murder. Mm-hmm. So why third degree murder?
Well, so this is a weird distinction. With the court of law, you have to be able to prove without a shadow of a doubt. Or any, just say shadow of a doubt, that these elements were present to commit this crime. For second degree murder, he would have had to come there with some kind of knowledge of, say if I go somewhere to fight you, and then you end up dying, that's second degree. First degree is if I planned it. Second degree is if I was doing something that could lead to your harm, and it did. Third degree is the other one, which they were saying that you were performing some activity that led to the death of somebody, but the activity wasn't inherently... possible. It wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? Like if we were wrestling and I put you in a chokehold, that's third degree.
Yeah, but Steve, go ahead.
I was listening to what you were about to say. I don't know. What were you about to say?
And there's only 3 states that observe third degree murder.
And I'm assuming Minnesota is one.
Minnesota's one. Florida's another one. And I forget the third.
Well, because a lot of people, because here's the thing. My fear is that there's going to be more riots. Because even if this guy is convicted, third degree murder is how long in prison?
5 to 10, if I remember right.
Yeah, so 5 to 10 years, and this guy clearly, when he was doing it, he looked like almost like he was something that wasn't quite right in his eyes.
Well, his record he actually has a history of he did kill someone else, he did shoot someone. He has a history of a lot of complaints, which I don't understand how people constantly get complaints and nothing happens until it becomes this bad.
Well, cops are kind of like Catholic priests nowadays. You know, they can basically commit awful crimes and they basically get transferred or they get reprimanded. They keep it it's an in-house thing. It's like a brotherhood of some sort where they keep it in-house. And just like the priests, you know what they do when the priests re-raping kids, what they do, they just move them from parish to parish to parish because they're trying to keep it in-house. And I feel like it's the same thing. It's almost like a fraternal unit that they don't want they don't want prosecutors and the court of law to handle it. So they handle it. And unfortunately, they're almost allowing these psychotic killers to just keep killing or even if they're not killing anybody, to beat up people. Because there's cops that don't kill people. They just kick that shit out of people, basically, you know? So...
Yeah, and I said this way before it happened, and I hate that I see what's being set up. It's almost like the okie doke. And whatever you say about the blue line, the blue shield, or whatever the fuck between them and the prosecutors, and whatever you want to say, here's what essentially happened. The prosecutor can't prove second degree murder. He can only prove third, so he went for third. By the way, the third state was Pennsylvania. So Pennsylvania, Florida, and Minnesota. The third degree comes with a lesser sentence. If they prove it, but they have to. It's almost weird. It's like when the autopsy came out, the autopsy said that he didn't die of asphyxia, which you would believe.
I saw that.
So, someone who had a knee on their neck, if they couldn't breathe, they would die of asphyxia, meaning they couldn't breathe. The autopsy said he didn't die that way. They said he died of related peripheral shit, like having a heart condition, high blood pressure, some other shit. Basically, I could see the setup. It's almost like the prosecutors have laid it out that we have to show that what this officer did led to the ending of this guy's life, but the medical examiner's already said, well, these are the reasons he actually died. And I could see this shit being argued out in court, kind of like the Trayvon Martin case where you say the shit almost seems so obvious to us, but it still has to be proven in a court of law. And just between that autopsy and the charge that they gave, I don't know if this cop is going to get that third degree murder. I don't know how they can land it with what the autopsy says.
And I don't have enough knowledge in what is called lobotomy. Phlebotomy.
Phlebotomy.
Ain't that
blood
like
work?
But are you talking about crime scene investigation?
Yeah, all that shit.
I don't know if phlebotomy is when they take
I want to use that word.
Phlebotomy.
My aunt that passed was a phlebotomist for 35 years. Yeah.
Why you look impressed?
I was. My aunt was a great one. Shout out to Grace Pearson.
No, but to that, like I don't got a degree in any of that. But honestly, all I can go is what I seen. This man telling me he can't breathe. He ultimately dies off of. If I would like to see what would have happened if you at least would have got off of him like he requested. To me, you did that. I understand, and not to get into conspiracies and all that, but for all I know, they paid you to say that. I don't know.
The medical examiner also
trying to make us not
for
believe.
them.
Stop trying to make us not believe what we're seeing.
Yeah.
Like, stop trying to make us believe what we're seeing did not happen. Oh, nah, his foot was on the neck, but he died over something else.
So do y'all think that, I mean, at the end of the day, this is going to come down to 12 people in a courtroom being presented evidence and having to make a decision.
I say the
do you think that they're going to be able to, that video is going to get played. Probably, here's the deal. There's 2 videos now, right? I'm sure there'll be 3, 4, 5 by the time they actually go to court.
I see the okie doke has been set up.
Yeah.
I see what the autopsy said. I see what they charged him with, and I don't know how this connects to that. And unfortunately for George Floyd and all of us, he could get pled down to some lesser bullshit. Whatever the one for accidental death, man 2, I think it is.
Didn't he plead? I thought he pled not guilty.
He should have. Most people would.
Or did he plead guilty? I thought he pled guilty.
You should.
I had to look. I'm sorry. I know the other cops.
I don't think an officer would plead guilty.
Yeah, probably not.
Because once you plead guilty, you left up to
whatever.
Pleading not guilty, you could always change it later. But it's just one of those unfortunate things. I personally, the shit sucks so bad, and that it's further adding to my lament about the whole situation. Is the okie doke has been set up, and when it lands, because that Trayvon Martin shit was surprising. What we saw, what we heard on the tape, what we believed to be the situation was a grown man approached a child, and that child ended up dying. Somehow they flipped it in court to basically make it look like Trayvon was the fucking aggressor, and this dude was protecting himself. And that's just what happened in the court of law. We watched that whole trial, right? I don't know if you did, Claude, but I know me and Steve did.
Yeah, I did.
It was just one of the weirdest fucking things where what we know to be true and then what was proven in court was 2 different fucking things. And then this is being set up in the same type way. If this officer gets off on not a murder, on something lesser like an accidental death, I wouldn't be fucking surprised. And the shit fucking sucks.
It's going to turn up again.
And people are going to be mad because the reason for the anger, for those who don't know, and I know a lot of our listeners do, is exactly what Trevor Noah said. As a society, we agree on certain rules and how we're going to conduct ourselves in this society. Part of those rules is what we call the law, and the enforcers of the law have to hold us to that, right?
Right.
But when the enforcers of the law are breaking the fucking law, well, what are we supposed to do? Keep fucking doing what's right? Fuck what's right. Y'all ain't doing what's right, so why should we? Loot everything. Fuck this whole shit. Burn all that shit down over there, or whoever you feel like ain't you. Because that's what it is in our minds. Because we don't feel protected by the people who should be protecting us.
Well, we're not protected by the people that should be protecting us, and also the law doesn't really protect us.
And the law is written in such a way to not protect us. That's right. What I'm saying. The okie doke has been set up in this trial in Minneapolis, but this could have been any of us or our kids or any. This shit fucking sucks, man. And this ain't even about fuck the police. This is literally about this situation with this guy, how it was set up, and why we're mad. Because the law ain't going to protect us. The government ain't going to protect us. A stupid fucking president is making things worse. And here we are just sitting here like, well, what are we supposed to do in this situation? How about we fuck some shit up then? Fuck it. If nobody going to do right, why shouldn't we? Why should we? Excuse me.
And I think that's what, and I think that a lot of people, because, you keep seeing everybody posting the things on social media. How you going to condemn, how you not going to condemn the cops, but you condemn the people looting and rioting.
I'm not condemning either.
My thing is that you have to kind of, you can do both. You can do both. You can say, hey, listen, we deserve to go out and be able to do the things that everybody else does and not have fear of the cops, but take comfort in the fact that they're there to protect us as well. But also we have the right to be upset when that agreement is broken, essentially. And I don't think people understand that. And I think it's simply the lack of empathy. I see people don't, because a lot of people, I don't know, my timeline is full of people in support. A lot of they're social media allies. Again, at this point, who cares what they say at dinner table?
A like on your post does nothing for my kid when the cops is accosting him.
Right. And that's the truth, because we have friends. I'm not going to say their names, but I know somebody in Colorado. They're out there protesting right now. Big ups to them, because I can't do it. I don't feel comfortable going out there right now, especially not when cops are Cops are on edge. People are on edge.
I don't remember who said it. Brown. I think it may have been Malcolm X, but somebody said protesting is a young man's game. And if you're young enough, or if you feel, I don't want to use the word viral, but if you feel amped enough to go out there and protest, I say go do it. Do it peacefully. Do it in a way that's targeted and aimed to making a message. Block off businesses. Don't let them get into this shit. I say there's better ways to do it. I bet if we blocked some banks and didn't let them get to their money, shit would be fucked up. They would fix that shit quick.
Right.
Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's better ways to do what we're doing. But if y'all, by all means, go. But it's on the older group, the 30s, 40s, 50s, us out here to do it a little smarter, maybe to steer them to where the right way is. Let's protest like Martin Luther King. Let's do it to the buses, because if we fuck up the bus routes, that fucks up the money. Then shit get changed. Let's sit in these restaurants. That's a targeted protest that would gear to certain things. I don't know what's at Bush and 30th except Busch Gardens, and I don't see how that gets us what we want.
Right.
If police brutality is the issue, I know. Oh, there's a police station right there. District 2, I think it is.
Didn't they burn that down?
I don't know if they burnt the Tampa.
I don't know if
one?
they got to the Tampa police.
Yeah, I don't
know. I mean, that was in Minnesota. Some police station was on fire.
It's there, but protesting in front of the police station does nothing. The police are going to sit there and listen and be like, for the ones who agree and the ones who disagree, all in all, they don't make the law. So that go protest at Tallahassee. Go protest at the governor's mansion. Go protest at where they write this shit, at the courthouse. You know what I mean? We should be steering them to the smarter protesting points, I guess is my point.
I just say I agree with that. There's right ways and wrong ways. I just think we handled it completely wrong. The place they protested was at the police station. I mean, everyone doesn't have the means to get to Tallahassee. I don't know if I don't know what happened in Tallahassee. Maybe they did. I
know people were when they went and opened the gyms. I know people was out there doing freaking burpees and push-ups in front of the freaking Capitol building. That was Steve was out there. Were you out there, Steve? I thought I saw a couple of brown spots out there doing some push-ups. So yeah, so people gonna do what they're gonna do.
And also, I think a lot of times maybe they didn't have means to go elsewhere other than just go outside of their neighborhood. A lot of times they just walked up the block.
That's a fair point.
Like they live in those far. Like they live there.
Yeah.
Y'all went up the street. Y'all rode your bike around outside like y'all typically do anyway. The Wawa they passed right there off 30th and Fowler.
Yeah,
that's packed all the time anyway. Mm-hmm. It stayed busy, so it's not. Of course, it looked a little more wild because people was walking the streets. But on a regular basis,
it'd be
it's always
anyway.
lit. Yeah. So it's like all they did was just come outside.
Yeah.
I see nothing wrong with how they protested in the mornings. My only gripe is what they did in the same area at night. I don't want y'all to loot, but if y'all going to do it, there's other places that's warranted and it will make a lot more noise.
Yeah.
The International Mall went unfucking touched.
Fuck International Mall. Protest.
Why are you damaging the University Mall that already hardly has anything? That's a half dead body anyway.
Yeah, they were tearing that half. They were tearing
right,
that
you just did their work. Setting Champs on fire just saved Champs from having to knock that bitch down.
The University Mall is a half dead body.
Right. Essentially.
At that point, y'all poking the body with a stick.
Yeah.
Right. That body with a stick.
Y'all should have took that shit to the International Mall. Showed the fuck out in front of PF Chains.
But that's that West Shore.
Or that one too.
Yeah.
All of it.
Again,
all of it.
I personally think, and there's no right way, but
and not saying to do that neither. But if you're going to do it
where it ain't your shit. I think when you start fucking with people's money, remember when the NBA had to close down because of Corona, and remember when people was like, "Oh shit, this shit's real," because they fucked up their own money to stop because of the quarantine, right?
Mm-hmm.
You fuck with anybody's money, they're gonna make changes. You'll get CEOs and business owners and people who really like, oh shit, maybe we should side with them because they're fucking with the money. You fuck with the money. You protest at International Mall. Those stores got insurance. They're gonna be fine nonetheless.
Oh, not if you don't let people go.
You know,
in.
If you stop from going in, if you burn it down, they can't go in.
You know how people going to turn
around? If you burn it down, you're gonna go to. Rest assured, I hear what Steve tells me.
Yeah.
If you go on the Bay Shore, onto International West Shore, and you start fucking with all that shit, I guarantee you they're gonna have. It's gonna be bad. It's worse off for you. Mm-hmm. Because they can rebuild that shit, like you said, there's insurance.
Yeah.
You're not rioting. I get it. People want to riot. They're just sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they want to fucking make them feel the hurt that we're feeling.
And I don't want people to feel like I'm saying they can't do that. I say go do that. Go do it. Be mad. Fucking yell at people, curse people out, shoot all the birds, get all the signs you want. Go do that. I'm just saying if we could do this a little bit more targeted and target where it matters to who the fuck makes these decisions. If a pharmaceutical company can lobby to keep their bullshit drug on the market when it's hurting people, well, they can lobby on behalf of black people and keep us the fuck a little bit safer. I bet the cops wouldn't fuck with us if they had to deal with higher ups. Is I guess what I'm saying is.
And
we need leaders to do that.
Go to Bayshore, jump on a fucking manatee's back. Do some shit like that. I guarantee them white people be outraged.
Or a dog.
Protest in front of Humane Society. That shit.
Yeah, that'll definitely do. Stop people from going to get puppies at Humane Society.
I didn't notice, but the lady, and this shit would obviously make us mad too. I don't remember her name, but she called the cops on that dude, and he called it on camera.
I get her name.
That lady, they took her dog.
Yeah, I know. That was great.
Oh, do you know that was probably the worst punishment that she could have ever.
She's fucking dying. She's pissed.
But you know what's crazy? So I'm glad you brought that up.
Lick her in her mouth.
Huh?
Now who's gonna lick her in her mouth?
Ew.
Now that the dog is.
Ew. But I wondered. So here's what's crazy though, and
remember that shit, Steve?
Y'all know who Bill Maher is? Y'all know who Bill Maher is?
Yeah,
you might know who Bill Maher is. He's a
HBO.
He's a I can't think of the word. He's an ally. But the thing about, he says, we already know the right is a little off. We know Trump is Trump. Trump is going to utilize racism, bigotry, xenophobia to get his way, essentially. What's crazy about that situation with that woman in Central Park is that she was a liberal Hillary supporter. And that's what crazy.
When you mad, you mad. See, that's the type of shit.
But it ain't even
happens.
about just being mad. It's just she's white, and she even knows, a liberal Hillary supporter knows how to weaponize race.
Correct.
And that's insanity.
Trevor hit that shit so poignantly, nail on the head, when he explained that this woman in that moment knew that the threat of what the police can do to us and how bad it can be for us was a weapon for her advantage and a disadvantage for us.
She said
that shit is amazing. And I was looking at Trevor. I was like, bro, we need leaders, man. And these are the dudes that should be up there steering us to the right path. This lady literally said, I'm going to call the police and tell them there's an African American man threatening my life.
And that is because
she could have just said man.
She
could have said big man, tall man. She straight up said African American man
because she know what time it is.
Yeah, and we've seen this in joke form in a few movies and stuff where it's like what movie was that where the dude picked up the phone? It was like 911. It's like, hello, I'm a black, and then before he said black man, they hung up the phone on him. Like we know what the fuck it is, but she was really using that shit.
That was Dave Chappelle comedy skit.
It was Dave Chappelle. Yeah. Hello, I'm a black. Hello. But anyway, the way she was able to use that to know that she would be okay and that the dude wouldn't because he's black and she's white should say everything it should say.
All because you're supposed to have your dog on the leash and he told you that, so now he has to die to you.
To potentially die. And I wanted to ask y'all about this. So I've been seeing it. I think I posted this before we came here today. I've been seeing a couple posts where there are officers speaking out against police brutality too. Mm-hmm. What are y'all thoughts on that?
It's needed, and they should. It'll be a lot better.
It's not just needed, Steve. It is essential.
Essential, yeah.
Essential.
What's essential mean?
It's needed.
All right. You got me. A little moment of levity. There you go. At my expense.
But go ahead. But go ahead.
No, it is a vital. I'd use another word.
Just quote Steve. I'm trying to change it.
It's a needed puzzle piece. It's a needed piece of the puzzle, essentially. It's a needed piece of the puzzle.
It's almost more than us protesting.
Right.
If enough of them say some shit, we ain't got to speak up on our own.
And they were black. They were black and white. They were black and white with badges.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's all you have to do is call out the dumb shit when it happens, and I promise you, everything will be a lot better.
Well, think about all the time in your job. How crazy is it when somebody doing some stupid shit at their job? Call them out so that shit can get fixed. We don't have jobs where motherfuckers are killing each other or killing people, but when somebody ain't drafted right, when somebody ain't investigating right, and it's causing people harm or fucking the business up, all you got to do is say, hey, that is wrong. Let's fix that.
Control Z, all that shit. Just start spazzing out in the damn office.
I don't really know what Steve does, though, just for everybody.
I know exactly what Steve does.
I know he does, but I don't know what he does.
I was walking past the sidewalk the other day. This had nothing to do with nothing. And I saw
he's an underwear. You a stripper?
I saw a junction. I saw one of those junction box things, and I was like, "My nigga be drafting these shits." So I just kept it moving. Like a proud moment for the homie.
Yeah.
But I think it's dope. I seen a black cop on his personal IG. I seen a white female cop talking about she was going at the Karens which is hilarious that Karens feel a kind of way about being called Karens. Y'all know about this?
Yeah. I have a Karen story for y'all in a minute.
She was talking about Karens. I've seen at the protests, officers on taking a knee in protest of police brutality. Local sheriff, I believe it was Pope. One of the sheriff out here and his deputies also went out and made a public statement. This shit is beyond necessary, and if they help police themselves, it can help stop this issue because it's a fucking issue.
Because remember what
motherfuckers are dying.
Remember what Steve and I were saying before? It's like a brotherhood. They're protecting each other, but if they were holding each other accountable, we wouldn't have to
protect each other when protection is needed on the streets and all of that shit. But when it comes to people doing wrong, you can't protect wrong because you're implicit in it.
It just drives me insane. Back to George. It just drives me insane that out of 4 officers, not one of them. Oh, and I got a story for y'all that I seen, I seen during a protest. But anyway, back to George real quick. Now, out of 4 officers, not one of them had enough common sense to be like, all right, look, hey, one of us, he's down. Let's. Like no one can say anything. Like no one had enough common fucking sense.
It's the brotherhood. They didn't want to.
It doesn't make it better. It doesn't make it better. The fact that 3 white cops are on him and an Asian cop was standing there trying to control the crowd. Like it's like, do y'all realize how bad this actually looks? Just look at even if he's in the wrong, just look at the snapshot of the fucking visual.
Do y'all think
it looks insane? It looks
wild. So let me ask y'all 2 questions. So because I hate to bring him into this freaking podcast, but Donald Trump has been emboldening people of a certain type. We already know who they are. I'm not going to even give them airtime. Do you think that guy, because literally he essentially killed a man on he knew he was being filmed. He put his hand in like he was strolling down the park and looked dead into the camera. So he knew he was being filmed. He knew what was happening. He knew what was happening under him. Do you think that was another situation of somebody being emboldened by the rhetoric of the administration?
I think that's not far-fetched to say.
It's definitely not far-fetched to say. It's a combination of, I know the law ain't going to be able to persecute me. I know at most I may lose my job, but when it's coming from the top,
I'll see if I send y'all that video. But I'm about to.
We don't have any evidence to prove what you just said, but we all have enough common sense to be like, well, yeah, if that makes sense.
All right, it was a looter, right? And they called him. They got him on the ground. This is like probably yesterday. I don't know. And the move, there was 2 cops. One was on his back. The other cop put his knee on the back of his neck, very similar to George Floyd's. Mm-hmm. The crowd was screaming like, "Get your fucking knee off his neck! Get your knee off his neck!" And the cop that was arresting him, the cop seen his knee on the back of that man's neck, aggressively grabbed his partner's knee and like shifted it to his back. Y'all gotta see it was crazy. The fact that happened like that.
Well, because
all that had to happen.
But he wasn't even just protecting the guy under him. No, I haven't. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I'm lying.
And protecting himself and everything else.
Because
I don't know if that's the move. Is that the go-to move, or is that legal?
Not even training.
That's not even a legal move, right?
Even in the training.
So for the fact that the cop looked down, like he literally heard the crowd. He looked. You seen it? I'm just describing it for the listeners. Grabbed his pant leg and snatched that shit away to the more of the middle of his back.
We'll put the video in.
That shit was insane.
If you need to hold somebody down, you could put a knee to the back of the shoulder blade because the shoulder blade can handle that kind of pressure. And that's not even in the training either. I want to be clear. I never was trained on no shit like that. Not even close. Not anything. I was trained how to do a chokehold properly so you don't kill people. But knee on the neck is they don't even allow that.
You don't want Mike knees on your neck. Period.
They don't allow that kind of shit even in MMA because it's hazardous to people.
Neck could be all quenched, all that water in that man's knee.
Water in my knee.
What's
that?
Are you wearing shorts at the time? Because then they got that look like an elephant foot,
like a hoof. They got a look.
I don't know what.
We just got to add some levity to this conversation.
I'll let it ride, the water in the knee shit is still confusing me. But yeah, man.
You know that version got water in your knee, Claude. You know. All right.
I remember that from like Operation. Is it water on the knee? Anyway, I want to hear your Karen story, Claude.
My Karen story? Okay, so I went to, I'm going to put it out there. Actually, I'm going to look at the camera when I tell the story because I'm speaking directly to this Karen. So it was Gandhi Walmart in Tampa. It was probably, so right now that Walmart is closing at 8:30 every day. Close at 8:30, basically. I went in at 7:55. I had to go get something for the kids real quick, something going in and out. As I'm going in, I see a Karen. She got to be about 55, 60, maybe 61 years old. She's coming out, got her Karen uniform on. She looked that age.
She was probably 30.
She was probably 30. Exactly. And as she's coming in, obviously, you know that Walmart everything is all sectioned off now. You can't go in the entrance. It's sectioned off, right? So I was like, you know what, fuck it. I don't have time to go all the way around, so I'm just going to go through the exit, right? As I'm going through, the door door's open. Karen's coming in. She don't say something to me, but she says something to these Hispanic kids that are going in to get some carts. Maybe they're teenagers, maybe they're 20, but they look really, really young, and they got masks on. I can't really see their whole face. But she's basically yelling at them and going, they're closing. They just told us all to come out here. Y'all can't come in. Why are you coming in? And I actually kind of stood there, and I kind of stood there, kind of squared up a little bit, and I looked at her.
I wasn't going to
swing on her. I wasn't going to swing on her, but I was just like, what? Here's my thing. Why, Karen, did you feel? I'm talking to you, Karen, now. You, Karen.
You think Karen watching?
Probably not, but I'm talking to all the Karens that might stroll by.
Get Karen.
Why do you feel as though you have to police people? I don't understand that. The Walmart's got their own security. Walmart's got their own management. And you know what? They weren't saying anything because it was 7:55, not 8:30. So I suggest, Karen, you take your hummus and whatever bullshit you got in your cart, go home and enjoy yourself.
She had a taco kit.
You know, fucking some, I don't know.
Neck roll with it, Claude.
You know, I'm not neck rolling with it.
Something for the dog.
And go home. The point is that this is the problem. You have police policing people. You got Karens policing people. And when I say people, I mean us, people of color, because there was tons of white people walking up in there doing whatever they want. But she chose to pick out these two Hispanic kids. They were just chilling, you know, and maybe she was just randomly picking people, but I'm telling you right now, Karen, we didn't need you to police those two kids because you yourself were walking up in there near 7:55, coming out getting your groceries and your hummus and whatever you
5
got.
minutes ahead of us.
You know,
and you never know the day they had. They probably
exactly.
might have had a long day working on the roof.
Exactly.
They just got off the roof,
and that's generally the problem with Karen.
Right, they just got off a roof.
That's Claude's word of the day. You know,
why they got off the roof?
I don't know. He might have been working on the roof, or maybe like
I said they were Hispanic kids, not grown.
Hey, it's really good to be back. This shit brought us back. We had to come.
Yeah, and I didn't mean. Yeah, I'm sorry not to cut you off, but just I want to keep it here real quick. I gotta throw in some jokes, kind of lighten shit up, man, because shit's just all fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and sometimes, not saying this is what you gotta laugh through. This ain't what to laugh through, but you gotta just throw in some light shit, throwing a little bit of light laughter with some
bit of levity
shit because damn, shit is fucked up, and if you don't laugh, you'll cry. And
you took the words out of my mouth.
And masturbation and crying at the same time is never a good combination.
Lubrication, actually, though, isn't it? Lubrication?
You use your tears?
Is that your
I'm not
testimony?
using my tears.
Is that your testimony? But no, you didn't cut me off. That's actually that was where I was going with it. It's really good to be in here. Like after I laughed, I felt it feels good. Don and Claude could attest. On Tuesday, I think it was. I was feeling really, really down about the shit. Like the shit really was fucking with me for about a 15-20 minute span. And I hit the homies. I vented a little bit because we actually happened to be talking. I don't even know where you was at, but we was talking, so they was like right there. So
we know where he was.
I hit them, and Don gave me some good advice. He was like, "Yeah, this shit's fucked, and sometimes you just got to take a break away from the shit and throw on some Outkast and go." So I was about to go ride my bike, and I was like, "You know what? Throw on some Outkast. What's the look about?" I didn't look. Steve. I see Steve. I didn't look. Why you throwing looks? But anyway, I was like, you know what? I'm finna throw on some Outkast. I'm finna go out here and ride and just chill. And that's what I did, and it was a good escape. I put up the social medias because watching people post and all the commentary and good or bad, up or right, up or down, left or right or wrong, whatever the fuck. Just seeing that on a constant basis, just being bombarded with that can really get to you. And I'm telling y'all this too. It really can. I'm giving y'all the advice that was given to me. Take a break from the shit sometime. It's still there. It's not going anywhere. We can still go and protest. We can still talk about the shit. But also take some time to laugh, kick it with the homies, spend some time with people. What was your quarantine non-riot protest police shooting playlist? What you throwing there? What was that particular day was straight Outkast. I just put it on Outkast and hit shuffle
some B.O.B.
and just went.
Sorry, Miss Jackson.
This could go depending on what you're doing. If you're chilling at the crib, yeah, maybe get some vibes, get some Sade or something like that. But if you're going out there to protest, maybe throwing some NWA, maybe throwing some Kendrick Lamar. What was it? All right.
If you're old school, throw on some Maze, Frankie Beverly, throw on some Marvin Gaye. Yeah. Stevie Wonder got a bunch of good things in there too.
Got to fight the power sometimes.
You got to fight the power. Yep.
It depends on what you're doing, man. If you're chilling at the crib, you got a crib playlist. Matter of fact, we should make a crib playlist and we should make like a protest playlist. That'd be kind of dope.
Oh, that's nice.
Something to have fun with. But it just feel good to just be in here kicking jokes and just kicking it with the homies. We've been off from the podcast for a long time because of COVID. But this brought us back because we got to stand together, and do
you think Tricks pull over is protester?
I don't think it applies in this scenario. Well, I don't think it applies.
I don't know, just maybe.
Whatever make you feel good. How about that?
Yeah, but possibly.
Yeah.
I don't know how it could possibly work, but
well, y'all gonna reach out to get some.
I did want to call the homie, but I think I want to save that.
This because it's not going away. We're gonna be here next week, the week after. This ain't going nowhere.
We're gonna be on this for a minute, and also we might have a couple things in the books that will lead to a good conversation. We'll see where it goes.
I will say for whoever's listening, especially the youngins out there, look, if y'all gonna be looting and riding, like, talk, maybe do something different. Talk your man out of it, maybe even. Or I mean, because it's not the safest thing to. It's just not safe. Like y'all cheering your man on and go break this, go do that. You keep cheering him to go, and then something happens to him. Now it's GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Right.
Well said, bro.
Mike, your final thoughts?
That was my final thought.
That was your final thought.
Just make sure you don't forget that there are good people out here and people who are sticking together and people who are riding for each other.
And we don't want nobody dying. We don't want, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times y'all probably don't got life insurance anyway. Now your mom's selling fish plates and things like that in the hood. Now next thing you know, she's selling weak ass fish plates and grits and shit for $12, hoping this shit sell just to pay for your damn funeral because y'all here wilding out. And you know your mom not a good cook. So come on. So let's not have your mom in the kitchen on the Sunday when she don't have to.
Lean on people who close to you and keep having fun and let's keep protesting and keep the message on point.
Right. And stop destroying your own fucking community.
Facts.
International Mall is right up the street.
I'll leave a thought real quick.
What's up, Claude?
Something real quick. So everybody been posting this quote from Martin Luther King. Riot is the what did they say? Riot is the language of the unheard.
Yeah.
And we all know that when we grew up. I grew up hearing that one all the time. And I just to give some context on that, he's also basically saying what hasn't been heard by the contract between us and our justice system, our government as citizens is basically not being upheld. And that's why people are rioting. At the end of the day, there are other ways to make sure that particular contract is upheld. One of them is voting. So I'm always, every episode I'm gonna throw this out here. Voting is key, not only for your president but for your state, your local government,
county commissioner, judges,
police chiefs. I mean, they're
sheriffs,
all elected officials,
sheriffs, everything.
So that's something that's very important. Make sure you go out and vote, and make sure you register to vote. If you can't vote, support people who can.
Drive somebody to the booth that can.
I promise. If you need to get somewhere, I'll come and get you. We could do that. I pick a few people up, mostly my siblings, but I'll be willing to take your ass wherever the poll.
Yeah, honestly, if I gotta go rent a van from Hertz
in Tampa,
get people around, in Clearwater, because that's my hometown. But
it'd be dope if we did that as a group.
Yeah,
something like that.
Could
like go around and drive around, pick people up, take them to the poll, especially elderly.
That's what people need to do.
Mike, you got a good driving record, Steve.
Yeah, I'm good money. I'm clean.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I don't got nothing shit on my. Yeah, I'm clean.
Nice. Well, I got about 10 tickets, but that was years ago. So
I don't
tell that story another day.
Tell that story another day. Yes.
Man, it's so glad to be back. Yeah. I'm so glad to see y'all. I miss y'all boys. I swear to God. I know we talk a lot, and it's just good to see y'all.
Yeah, man.
So I can see the dumbass looks when I say I was riding my bike. Yeah, nigga, I was riding my bike.
Mike rides. Mike be out there.
At least 3 miles a day.
If y'all follow Mike on Instagram, I am Mike Lake. He actually be posting pictures of him riding his bike, surprisingly enough.
And I will say, we got a homie who been trying to get an Xbox or some game system for the longest time, and he hasn't gotten it yet. I tell you what, if he has one now, I'm judging him, and I'm going to think he was out there looting.
Oh.
It took forever. So if he has one now, he better not. I want to hear.
We should ask him in the chat.
I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear.
Oh my God! If he
what
has
game
one
we playing tonight? I want to hear none of that.
You're just gonna be playing your Xbox all of a sudden. Bloop, it pops up.
Name gonna pop up.
Oh, I was about to say the name.
But man, y'all stay safe out there. Y'all protest properly. Y'all riot properly in the proper areas, as we've been trying to tell y'all the whole time.
Or don't riot.
And let's come up with a real plan to affect some real change on this shit.
Facts,
nationwide.
Facts.
Because it may not be your city. It could be a neighboring city. It could be Jacksonville and Miami for all we fucking know.
And the way shit going, you never know. It could be not even just your state, your city. It could be you.
Fact.
Right. And we got to get out of here because there is a curfew imposed in our city right now. So we can't stay here much longer.
Yeah.
Shout out to my mask made in Wakanda. I'm out here staying protected because y'all know I got asthma.
But ride bikes.
I'm Mike Lake, one half of the Poor Podcast.
Steve Cash, man. Y'all be safe out there. Quarantine Steve. We'll check with y'all hopefully next week. If not, the week after that. And if not, we'll be back whenever the world allows us to be. Yep.